Hello, physical storage medium tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall with me, BlueAnkylo. I got it. So, last episode we, had a chat with some of the people back in our safe house, and we found out that the DVD we got from Green Winters needs to be, well, we need to find someone who can even play it, so let's give that a shot. Malit Hoyle. We'll go Holle. Welcome back. What can I do for you? Oh yeah, we found that drone last time too. I completely forgot about that. I acquired this drone. Can you get it running? Yeah, probably. It might take a bit of doing though. I love working on these old corp drones. Can't make you any guarantees, but either way it's on the house. Sounds like fun. I'll start straight on it. See you later. Now there's some other stuff I want to talk to you about. Yeah, go on. Alright, so... I mean, the first thing we ought to do then, the second thing we ought to do, I guess, is get this DVD thing played. Really? That is old tech. Very old, in fact. Just a moment, I'll go look. She turns to rummage through a bin of obsolete components at the back of her stall. Ah, yes, here we are. The dwarf wrestles a mid-size flat-screen display unit out of her bin. This display has old enough hookups to connect to a DVD player. RCA, you know, vintage. Mint. The player itself, though, this I do not have. You may wish to try your luck down at the junkyard. There's a scavenger there, primitive man with a crude disposition. If anyone here in the Cruz Bazaar can help you find your DVD player, he can. But he will almost certainly attempt to overcharge you for it. She takes a deep breath and smiles up at you. But you're not here for gossip. Shall we conclude our business? I could give you the display for, say, 200 Noyen. Yeah, Paul said to charge him. Ah, very well. I will have it packaged up and delivered to Amsel right away. Best of luck finding your DVD reader. Okay, we got an ancient monitor. It's a good start, I guess. Just want to see what she's got for sale. See if this has been, like, upgraded. Don't think this is better than the last time we were here. So we might not have the ability to get better gear just yet. I figured I would check. Like, I'm going to go to the Talismonger as well, see if there's any better spells. She tips an invisible hat. Hey there, remember me from the cafe? Name's Kami. Are you looking for something? Well, I remember her. Depends. Is there anything I should be looking for? She titters. Volunteering information? That's bad for business. Unless Altoof wants me to sell you something. But that's rare. I'm just his ears and hands outside the cafe. He's got enough of a voice all by himself. So what's the story between you two? She grins and winks lasciviously at you. It's a tough word, sorry. Oh, surely you've guessed. You're not serious. She laughs. I can't pull a fast one on you, can I? Well, I'll tell you the real story sometime. How about that? Right now, though, I have an errand to run. Come over sometime we can chat over hookah or something, yeah? She lazily tips an invisible hat at you before turning her focus to a comm on her wrist. Alright, well, she seems fun. I'm glad they allow dogs here. We don't get to talk to the lady here, unfortunately. This guy's still here. I don't know if there's anything to talk to at Altoof, but I figured we'd try. The Turk leans into you, keeps his voice low. I have information regarding that matter my people were looking into. Pending. The one involving the surveillance device on my data tap. Altoof! I've been waiting for my coffee for nearly an hour already. Are you growing the beans out back? Can't you see that I'm speaking to an honored guest, you tower of quivering corpulence? His voice lowers again. Now then, as I was saying. We were fortunate that you happened upon the surveillance tap when you did. People on the other end were planning a very bad thing, to be sure. Quite bad, yes. Monica Schaefer was an important member of this community. More than most were aware of. This Kiz was under her protection. You know how it is in the Flux, Effendim. The governance of a place like this is tenuous at best. You never know who's going to be in charge from one day to the next. But Monica was a stabilizing force. And not just because she was dangerous. She was smart and funny and wise, and she had a way with people. They wanted to support her, to follow her, because they loved her. When she was killed, it left an opening for others. It would have meant bloodshed and pain if this council had been allowed to continue their plans. But they did not. We saw to it, you and I. Indeed we did, Altuf. They're dead. The Kreutz Bazaar will maintain its stability a while longer thanks to us, my friend. Now, what can I do for you, Effendim? Would you like some coffee? We got some karma! That's all we really needed. Alright, thanks for the info, buddy. Well, I mean, 1 karma isn't a whole lot, but I'll take it. That might be the difference between a point in spellcasting or something. Speaking of spellcasting, I hope I fixed the lagging of the screen out there. I'm not 100% sure on my OBS if that's looking properly now. I never really walked around. Oh yeah, I never really checked this place out all the way through. I didn't think we could go back here, but there's nothing to click on. It's just checking for stuff. Kinda cool. Lots of little details like that. Alright, Algae, old pal. I want to see if you have any new stock. No new spells, no new outfits, weapons. So, I could pick up a couple points in spellcasting. I would need to get to level 2 spellcasting to get heal. I'm not too interested in high AP costing spells. I did also learn that you can buy spells and then right before your run starts, when you're like equipping your guys, choosing what gear to bring, you can give them to people like Dietrich, and although he will give it, he will lose it at the end of the run, but it'll go back to your inventory or your stash. So like I could buy a spell for him, he'd be able to use it in the combat, or at least he's supposed to be able to. That's what I read on the internet, and then we should get it back, so we wouldn't be out, 200 million every time. I do have enough money. I could buy some of the other shaman spells that I don't have yet. I don't think slow is worth it. I still don't have a good answer for what quiet and silence do. Fog might be acceptable. I don't like the fact that it costs 2 AP though. And I am a little concerned that it just isn't going to make much difference. Like, we can't see the enemy's accuracy, and at least when we're playing on very hard, they seem to just hit every time. So 15% isn't going to change that much. I could buy another elemental fetish. I think I used one last time, but I should still have one left. Oh, and I was going to sell these, right? Yeah. Yeah, these are totally useless for me. This is everything I've equipped. Yeah, I don't really need the cram is kind of neat, but it only lasts 1 round. Honestly, I'd rather just have the money. And then I have more inventory space for med kits and trauma kits and stuff. And fetishes, because I have to bring those. Yeah, there's a little bit of money, nothing that amazing. Let me just check. So there was no new spells, so I don't really need to bump up my charisma, or my conjuring right now if I don't want to. This would get me a spell slot, but it's pretty expensive. We could go for Lightning Barrier, but I don't think we can buy that yet. I didn't see it. So maybe I will try to get, like, just spellcasting to level 2. It's really not that expensive. I mean, that only cost 3 points. That was cheap. Let's see. 9 points left. Let's put 4 into Conjuring. It does increase your accuracy with those sorts of spells. Let me put 1 more into spellcasting for now. And then you've got 2 points left over. I'm going to get at least a little bit of basic dodge. I think the way this works is every point is like minus 5% for the enemy's chance to shoot you or something like that. I think it's 5% per point. Probably 5% for quickness as well. But I might as well get at least level 2 or 3 dodge because they're so cheap. Just like I might get a couple more points in body at some point. On the other hand, I could go for biotech as well. Well, I'm going to want biotech level 2 just so I can see enemy HP. And it does make me a little bit better with med kits, which isn't a bad idea to have a little bit more HP from those. So there you go. We'll try to pick up some of the cheap stuff. We'll get biotech, a little bit of dodge, quick body. And then I'll start pumping more into spellcasting and conjuring as we need them. So with spellcasting 3... Oops, one more thing I was going to check. How many actual slots do I have? So I've got 5 altogether. I've got haste and a barrier. So I can learn 3 more spells. Well, I can equip 3 more spells, essentially. So I could pick up fog, but I'm probably going to skip these. Dietrich has heal wounds. He had a lightning ball. Not lightning bolt. He had like whatever the AoE version was. What could I pick up? Stun spell might not be the worst idea. I wish I knew exactly how strip armor and armor worked. I was hoping this would give us like damage reduction, but I don't think it will. Could give myself at least 1 damaging spell. I'm going to give myself Acid Stream. It fits in with my Acid weapon. I thought this should have been a Shaman spell anyway, actually. We'll pick up that. You can... Decreases the target's to hit chance. It's the opposite of aim. That might be worth it, too. I wouldn't mind having 1 AoE spell as well to go with that. This is another piercing armor. This one actually strips armor. This one just does some damage and pierces. We'll pick up that. That gives me a single target damage, AoE target damage, and then I'll pick up like 1 buff. So, do I want to add armor or strip armor? We'll have the ability to add armor for now. That spends a bit of our money. That'll be fine. We'll see how things go in the future, and I want to buy some more medkits probably too. Alright, anything else from Algae? Probably not. Fine, I guess we'll talk to him a little bit more. Have you ever heard of a gang called the Kreutzritters? Sadly, yes. They are quite active here in Berlin. They're fascists, plain and simple. They cling to Christian doctrine to justify their actions, but they're killers first and religious fanatics second. Yeah, interesting. Just wanted to confirm someone's story. That seems to confirm it. Thanks, Algae. Alright, cool. I mean, I don't know if we need to double check everything Glory tells us, but it doesn't hurt. Absinthe turns to face you. Lady Blue, a pleasure as always. What can I do? Let's give it a try. Ask for projection. Go. Your third eye slides open and you find yourself staring at nothing. Where the elf's aura should be, an hazy gray smear undulates itself. Absinthe's voice slides into your ears like a living thing. You won't catch sight of me that way, elf. My true self is hidden, tucked away behind a veil of time and aether. Be thankful you wouldn't like what you'd see. Your third eye slides shut again, involuntarily this time. Back in the material world, you find yourself rubbing your temples against a sudden headache. I mean, I didn't think it was going to work, but I figured we should try. Don't worry, the pain will fade in time. I wouldn't recommend doing that again, though. Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. Give up. I don't even want to talk to you, Absinthe. Suck. Stupid Absinthe. Alright, well, let's see if we can find that DVD player. And maybe some med kits. And just check in with a few people while we travel around, of course. So the dancing girl's still here. We just give her a donation every time we go by. Yeah, 5 million. We can do this every time. It'll be fine. I don't know, but, you know, there could be some sort of reward if we do this, like, every time for the entire game, maybe. Again, my apologies if the stream is lagging on the video. This guy just sells guns, right? He doesn't really like to talk, really. We have weapons from all across Europe. Ares, Seska, Fischetti, you name it. If it can be found on the continent, it can be acquired by Metbach Arms. Tell me about Metbach. I don't discuss family matters with customers. Yeah, obviously this guy doesn't really want to talk to us. He's always been kind of a jerk. Fine, I'm just leaving. Metbach's face hardens. After a brief pause, he gives you a curt nod. Very well, Gaji. If you come round again, you better come with money and you come to buy, understand? He makes a shooting motion with his hand, waving you away. Move along now, Za de Velesa. We've never gotten along with this guy very well. I don't really like to buy his guns because I don't use guns. And I don't like his tone of voice, so I'm not very nice to him, I guess. Alright, let's talk to Shradi. A stout old man looks up from whatever old tech he's tinkering with to squint at you through thick, old-fashioned glasses. He pushes them up with an oil-stained finger as he straightens up to nod at you. He speaks with a gruff but well-meaning tone, heavily accented with German tonality. Yeah. Guten Tag. What can I do for ya? It sounded too Canadian. I'll have to try again later. What can I do for ya? I don't know. It's hard. Sorry. Malit tells me you're the man to speak to about DVDs. That little shrew sent ya my way, huh? Scrotty's voice broadens. Will wonders never cease? Well, introductions are in order, I suppose. Scrotty Bushman at your service. The old man raises a grimy hand in salute. Need something salvaged? Some old components? Well, I don't know. I'm indeed your man. Wonderful! What about that DVD player? Wunderbar. Well, let's see. I think that I've got something that'll work for ya. Scrotty rummages through the junk heap on the table behind him. A few seconds later, he snatches a battered plastic lozenge shaped from the pile. Ah, here we go. An old Korean player that I dug up last week. 2010 model, a real beauty. Scrotty's smile broadens, and he gives you a conspiratorial wink. I fixed her up and got her running, but without any discs to read. I've mostly been using her as a paperweight. Sounds like you've what I'm looking for. How much do you want for it? Scrotty glances back at the DVD player, a rueful expression on his face. Well, I'll admit I'm a little loath to part with her. There are plenty of folks out there who'd really appreciate an older player such as this, and I don't know what your intentions are for it. You just said you used it as a paperweight, and you don't even have a DVD to check if it works. You jerk. I suppose, given the time and trouble I took putting her back together, that I'd be willing to part with her for, about 500 Noya. I'm not paying that much money. That's ridiculous. I could buy a new Trivid player for that. Yeah, but you can get one of those anywhere. You ain't gonna find another of these anytime soon. But it's not like I get offers to buy these every day, so I'll cut you a deal. How's $350 sound? At least I get to use my charisma for something, guys. Finally. Have that, and you've got yourself a deal. I'm not over fond of your tone. But it's not every day I get asked to sell any of my projects. That'll be 170 Noyan, if you please. Alright, I think that's as good as we're gonna get. There might be a way to do a side quest for him, but at this point, let's just go. Scrotty gingerly picks up the ancient device from the table and presses it into your hands. The plastic is scuffed and worn, and it rattles a bit when you move it. It's not gonna work. Give her some good use, okay? If that even works, I'll be amazed. Once you can shake something and you hear little pieces of it rattling inside, it's not a good sign. Who is this? Zach? Oh, right, the drug dealer. Sure. Oh, we did. That's right. I forgot about this too. We did pick up a formula for Jazz, so let's see what he says if I tell him about it. Oh, you know I'm your man. I can hook you up right now. So you just give him the formula and then he'll sell you Jazz. That's fine, I guess. Wonder if I can press him for his secret. Did I level up the stats that I needed to level up? I probably needed like willpower or something. Last time, I know there was a test that I failed somewhere here. Somewhere back in this dialogue tree. Yeah. We've been through this dialogue tree before. Ah, it was biotech that we needed to check his ears. We needed to get to level 3 biotech. Maybe we'll be able to try that again later. Because I am curious what the deal is here. I guess we'll go buy a couple of med kits quick. I still got some money. I should be okay. We probably won't be using a lot of cyber tech though, because it would interfere with our casting too much. Hey, an auto-injector hyper. I've got all kinds of schematics and stuff. I found this schematter. Very nice. The design appears to be simple enough. Yes, I should be able to provide you with this. It won't be cheap though. Okay, well let's just see what it looks like. I don't know. So this was the auto-injector hyper. 2,000 Noyan. When triggered, accuracy is increased by 6%. Barely anything. Incoming damage increased for 3. That's not terrible. We take up an arm slot and half of a point of essence. It always rounds up as far as magic is concerned, so that would still cost me a point in magic, basically. And what I really want is some medkits. So I did actually have to use one of my trauma kits last time, thanks to that ambush. That was not very nice. I'll buy a couple of medkits. I've got a good one, a couple cheap ones. I've still got a level 2 fire fetish. I'll probably try to just keep one here. And then if I use it in a mission, I can buy another one to replace it. Until they start selling better ones. Like, it's only forced to. They'll get better as we go further along. Finish our rounds. And then we'll go back and talk. I wonder if that girl actually made it to the guy, I forget his name. The one that helps out poor orcs and trolls. Simi, the girl with the chip in her head, stands with her eyes closed, rocking back and forth. She looks so frail that a light breeze might knock her over, but somehow she stands on her feet. We've talked to her before, though. I'm Lady Blue. Pleased to meet you, miss. Kim. Pleased to Kimmy, which leads to Simi. Simi Kim is what most people call me. They think I don't know why, but I do, Monica explained. What you been up to? The girl absently fingers the chipjack in her temple. I wanted to escape with the children, the captain. We had to get away from the soldiers, out of Austria. But it was wrong, all wrong. I was taking them over the mountains. But it was the wrong way. I know it was. I should have taken us straight into Germany, not Switzerland. Should have taken a train, gone to Italy. There would have been safe. I didn't want it to end badly, so I turned it off. Zach sold me something new. In it, I feel strong. I have a son, and he's destined to save the world. I have to protect him because the machine have come back to kill him before he can become a man. I won't let that happen because in there I'm strong. Though Kim's words are bold, her trembling voice and body betrays someone aching for a fix. How you doing with Monica? We'll bring that up again. Great decision, great decision. Kim hugs her arms close to her body. Sad. She never got to have a family. She'll never get married, never be a mother. Seems she was a mother to the whole Kreuzbazaar. Kim nods her head almost dumbly. her eyes unfocused on the ground. Monica said a mother is always a mother, always. She hugs herself tighter and stares blankly at the ground. Well, I have some suspicions on what her backstory is going to be like, but deal with that later. I'm sure it'll come up. Any secret missions from the payphone? Doesn't look like anything's going to happen. I know we have kind of an ongoing side quest with them. We should be getting some jobs from them every now and then. It's nice to look at this place during the daytime. It's much more colorful. Alright, Lane. The old troll putters about, his artificial joints complaining loudly. He seems heavier today than when you first met, and he takes your approach as a reason to seat himself and rest. I understand they put you in charge of Monica's outfit. Looks like we're both carrying heavy burdens. Ah, I suppose so. We'll see which gives out first, your will or my plastic knees. You need something? How are people handling the loss of Monica? I think most people are still in shock. Just you wait, that'll pass and the panic sets in. You folks have any real discipline around here. Monica kept them calm by keeping them safe. Now that she's gone, they're going to start realizing what a heap of misery this blasted city can be. You don't seem too worried. Already died once. Every day since is just a bonus. Tired, painful bonus. Really doesn't matter that much to me, but to the rest, it's going to be a different story. Monica kept this place in one piece. She read the flux like a bird reads the wind, or a fish reads the current. Without her, there's no telling what's going to happen. Tell me about yourself? Let me guess, you want to know how I lost the legs. Sheesh. Now I just need biotech for everything, seems to be. If you're offering. Might as well hear about it from me than one of the addle-brained kids running around. Lost the legs during the first Euro War, if you must know, in a bombing. Now, need something else? I'm good. Not sure what the deal with Lane will be, but he seems like he's probably one of the old guys looking out for the town. Probably like Monica's go-to for information or something like that. Kept her, kind of filled her in on the details, what's going on. Hello again, mein Freundin. I'm just never gonna get it right. What can I do for you? So did Silky make it? Yes! She mentioned that you had sent her. I don't know what you told her, Lady Blue, but whatever you said, it worked. Silky's determination is truly inspiring. A crime habit is a difficult thing to beat, but I don't doubt that she will make it. Awesome. So Silky did make it. I'm kind of a little bit frustrated that we were unable to finish her other quest, though, to recover her belongings, because we should have been able to grab them and bring them to her here, but oh well. Let's see if we can finish up this donations. I think we can afford another 150. Thank you, mein Freunde. With this donation, we have reached our first goal. Oh good, the first goal. Thank you so much for your kind assistance. I will put your contribution to work, stocking the shelter with blankets and heaters. Please do not downplay your contribution. If nobody else was donating, you have shown a kindness at a time when few others will. That means something. That means a great deal. Are you still accepting? Of course he is. Yes, mein Freundin. We are now ready to open up to donations once again. Thanks to your kind assistance, the shelter is now fully stocked with blankets and space heaters. And we've enough rice, salt, and barley to last through the winter. But guaranteeing the physical well-being of the Kreutz Bazaar's needy is only a part of the equation. We must see to their mental well-being, at least, or as well. Our next goal is to fully stock the library. With 350 Neuen, we could make the purchase. Whatever you could spare would be most appreciated. The stores didn't have anything else. Am I just going to give away all my money? How much money do I have left? I might. We've got 1,000 Noyen left. None of the stores restocked. I will want this money eventually, but I've already bought what I wanted to. My spells and my med kits. There wasn't any more big purchases. So you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm feeling very generous. Oops, press the wrong button. I'll tell you what. I'll buy you some books. Here you go, buddy. Samuel's eyes widen. This is incredibly generous. Thank you, mein Freundin. It's not a big deal, Sam. Do good. Marvelous. Truly marvelous. With this contribution, we have reached our second goal. We'll put this money to use stocking the library with a full range of literature, philosophy, poetry, and training manuals. Thank you again for your help, Lady Blue. You've made a tremendous difference. Yeah, you know. So now what? How much is the next one? Nothing. Not just at the moment, friend. I'm still working on putting the money you've already donated to good use. Give us some time, and we will set a new goal. But for now, spend your Noyen on yourself. You deserve it. Thanks. I figure we'll build up his rescue shelter. It seems fine. Alright, now that we're done talking to everybody, let's go see if there's anything on this DVD. It seems that Amsel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Malit deliver. On their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Lady Blue, have you produced a DVD reader? You bet. Good, this should only take me a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The discs should be ready to play. I mean, it's better than those old stereo manuals, right? Am I right? Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damn thing already. Lady Blue went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let her do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the machine. Does he? Wait, we're here. A soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life, and a menu fills the screen. Well, we'll start at 1. Why would we go backwards? We'll go forwards. The screen goes black, and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live, and a disheveled-looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. Timestamp is 2034-915. So, fall 2034. Hermie! I think we found her! After all this time! Pirschwingi! I knew she wasn't dead! His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall! Just as I've always said. I knew it! And I was right! The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears, and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless tide. Taking a team into the SOX to retrieve her, the radiation be damned! We will take the appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think the body may be nearby as well. Somehow she has survived for all of this time. The screen explodes into static again, then clears. The figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay out of there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprisings. You'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the SOX, but I do know one thing. If the Fire Wing is still a danger, I will put an end to her, once and for all. The display goes black, and the background whine fades away. A moment later, you find yourself deposited back at the menu screen. Okay, so what have we learned? Pirschwingi was that dragon that was terrorizing Berlin and killing everyone. and one of the corporations managed to supposedly kill it. But it sounds like maybe they didn't. Not entirely. The screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on the screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp on the video reads 53/12/25. Christmas! About 14 years later, I think? Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange, hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on his bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. I wonder if he's like his younger brother. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer. My brother. You know. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, for whoever might end up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time. Sentence reading. But I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting. Christ, 20 years, all this time, and still no leads, even with all my contacts and my resources. Takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? The closest I've gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from Sox a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but... And get this, he leans to the camera with a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly, they vanished without a trace. He appends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down on the table. His eyes are rimmed red. Not much of a rumor considering I already know that they're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. So they were investigating some sort of radiation area, some socks filled with radiation, supposedly to find a dragon's corpse, if it's dead. And then they disappeared. So it's going to be some megacorp causing problems, probably, is my guess. Abruptly, Winters leans forward and reaches for something off screen. The display goes black. There is a grinding sound from the DVD player. That's not good. Green Winters' image appears on the screen. There is an eager look on his face. 2054, so almost a year later. Stumbled upon this archival footage of for Schwingy's original attack. Pure Schwingy's, I was calling her. Months before the Dragonfall, easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. The slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A distorted, wavering image blooms into being on the set screen. A timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date. July 6, 2012. Oh man, I'm sorry Berlin, you've already been destroyed by a dragon. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The scene is dark and smoky. Definitely. And the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you just reporting in, we are coming to you live from Stahlberg. A few hours ago, the Dragon Schwingy launched an unprovoked attack on the Sleepy Hertz mountain town. And you can see the results behind me. Fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience in this attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew, roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family. We have nothing. You all made it through the attack, though. Your wife, your kids. Yeah, we all made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter. Me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter, it protected us, but heat was just unbearable. Couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? Well, and it was over, you know, when the air cooled down, we stepped outside. There was nothing left, just smoldering wreckage, and this dense cloud of black, oily smoke, and this stench of the air. That smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on the face, you can see the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually he does. My girls. They found what was left of their nanny outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I keep telling myself I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but that isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open the door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her. Not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here, an absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash, another victim of the Fire Wing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on the Fürschwingi's reign of terror. Okay, time for a new approach. Adrian's complete dead end. Adrian's a complete dead end. That's pretty much clear by now, so I'm going to go digging on Fürschwingi instead. Let's see where this goes. Well, I've always heard that dragons in this world are particularly dangerous. You know, probably not something we want to run into right now. Green Winters again. 2054, that's just a week later or so, I think. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Fürschwingi either. He shakes his head. I don't know, it's weird. The information's there, it's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this just feels a little too neat. There's only one thing that's nagging at me. That's not the only thing that's nagging at me. That's a completely different sentence, Blue. I'm getting that tingly feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. Feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Got to install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Is this what's going to kill him? Green Winters again. Another couple weeks later. Not looking good. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies, and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Marcian, Peregrine, they've all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday, and they were all making the same sorts of inquiries about the Fire Wing I have been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff, and I'm starting to think that it's true. Litz leans in to whisper to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock in them, not until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment, as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm in the middle of it. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all of this. Apparently, a Decker named Hellebore posted a theory about Fürschwingi on the Shadowland BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in the meat space and cooked her entire apartment, with her in it. That's a pretty heavy-handed response for posting a theory. If what Tolstoy told me was true, Hellebore live posted the event. She described her killer, this big orc with skin grafts. So that'll be the guy that we fought way back at the beginning. We almost killed him, but he did escape. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap? Iger love. Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds her silence, but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winter pauses. He looks like he's working up something. He finally speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. There's gotta be Fierschwingi. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive, and she's out of the socks. She's covered her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian, for everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I've backtraced all of the Matrix notes that Hellebore was looking into, back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that, and I found that she found what she turned up. I found that she turned up, Winter stabs a few keys on his keyboard, and an image expands to fill the screen of the monitor. A satellite photo of rural landscape annotated with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. This is almost certainly going to be that castle we were in on the first mission. So now I've got a target, a place to start digging. The Harfold Manor, conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate. So that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor to Winter's left, Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll feed her some line about flux state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. Oh, Iger's gonna... Well, you're already dead, but if you weren't dead, Iger was gonna kill you. I warned her. Amsel's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On the display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Until then... Winter's image disappears. The display goes black. So how did he die then, I guess? We already know that he set us up. Well, he could have warned us that it was probably more heavily guarded than what he said. When you play the 6th track, a small video window appears. You recognize the scene in the window. You are looking at the tattered drapes and nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room at Das Kesselhaus. From another, 2 days later. I don't know the exact date, but I think this has all been happening in the space of a couple days. There is a blur of motion and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers into the frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, it returns, clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up, slow down. Start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got the call from my contact in the Kreutz Bazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security in the estate cooked her brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience, an on-site IC must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that costs money. Real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement unlikely. The connection to the Fire Wing is too strong. So let's come right out and say it. The dragon is what we're dealing with here. And the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts, still got my connections, and the flux state can be a hell of a weapon for the man who knows how to manipulate it. Winter takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Deckers or no, I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Well, we know that isn't true. Winters drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment later, you hear the dull clattering sound of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic. She was a staunch supporter of the F state, but still, all things considered, better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head and the screen cuts to static. Well, that was the last anyone ever saw of Green Winters. As your fingers near the eject button, a blank screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard, fierce face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they caught up to me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came in here? We didn't know. Not exactly. I didn't come here to get hunted by a dragon. I'm not even a part of this. You are now, whether you like it or not, so quiet down and stop bothering her. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother. Because if your Schwingy is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. This is also something that hasn't been explained. How did he stop her the first time? You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, and dozens of others have died. You'll be next, unless you can find Adrian. The screen cuts to static, the message is over. As is this episode. So thanks for watching, folks. I hope you have enjoyed. That took longer than I was expecting, but such is life. Anyway, next episode we'll talk to Paul and potentially figure out where we're going from here. So, thanks for watching, folks. Have a great day. See you next time. There's a lot to talk about, and I'll save my thoughts on that for a little bit later.